Hi, this is City Scrapper. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're not familiar with LOAD, LOAD stands for Lay Out a Day, and it's run by Scrap Happy. The way it works is participants receive an email each day with prompts and a video for inspiration. At the end of the month, I had 31 layouts. That's a lot for me. I don't usually make nearly that many in a month. The thing I liked the best about Load was I'm a slow scrapper and I don't tend to make quick decisions. And this really forced me to get layouts done. I had to get my elements on the page. I had to quickly decide what I was doing. And as a result, I made a lot of layouts that I wouldn't have made because I would have been moving things back and forth and not making final decisions. So I really love that about this. Another thing that I really liked about it was the way it made me look through my stash and not just see things that I hadn't seen in a while and remember that I had them, but also the prompts had me look at things with different eyes. They made me look at my pictures a little differently from a different perspective, and then it made me use my stash in a way that I might not have thought to use it before. So here we go. This is my first layout. It's called the Betsy Ross House. I used some Bo Bunny papers to make a chevron pattern in the background, like a lot of scrappers are using these days. I used some scrolls from my stash and some flowers that have both been in there for a long time. And I used some thickers. And that was my very first layout. This is Gospel. I use a very old die cuts with a view paper stack. It has vellum in it, so I use some vellum in the background and a different vellum behind this heart. These are also older scrolls that I had in my stash. I don't know if you're familiar with Technique Tuesday. Years ago, they used to make these beautiful chipboard shapes. They were white and you could decorate them any way that you wanted. I kind of hoarded them and I was excited to be able to use this one. I chose to emboss this and I finished the layout off with some gold hearts from Joanne. Back in Time uses, again, some of my older papers. I use stickles to highlight some of the fireworks. These are Prima clocks that I tinted with some gelatos, and I used a corner punch and some enamel dots. This is called Philadelphia's Magic Gardens. This is from, again, our trip to Philadelphia. And these are some scrolls that I had in my stash. These are gold, unlike the others. Also, you'll see again some older flowers. I use a lot of mixed media on the background, sprays, art stones, pearls, and some thickers. Eastern State Penitentiary. This is using some sprays. This is a resist paper back here. I also used some modeling paste and layered up some papers and tore the edges. My favorite part about this page is the keys because I use a Prima Patina kit that I had bought a long time ago and just never used. This layout, Annual Visitors. This is a layout that was inspired by some flowers that come up in my yard each year. I'm guessing my mom planted them many years ago, and they still pop back up every single year, just for a couple of days, but they remind me of my parents and what a great job they did taking care of our home and the grounds, and they're nice to see every year. So I used Bo Bunny papers for this, some mixed media in the background. This is a border punch, some Martha Stewart butterflies, a doily, and I layered up some pattern paper in the background. This is also a little tag that has some journaling on it. This layout, I love the subject matter. I wish I hadn't included this picture the way that I did. The colors on this are very muddy, and I feel like they kind of disrupt the feel of the whole layout. If I could do it again, I would have this maybe hinge to reveal this, if you picked up the flap, but that's okay, it's done. What this is this is a picture I painted when I was a very little girl, and my daughter found a website online that takes a child's painting or drawing and makes it into a plush toy. So she had that done for me based on this picture and surprised me with it. And it was just one of the most amazing gifts I've ever gotten. It was so thoughtful, and it just really floored me, and I wanted to document it. So you can see that, again, I used the Technique Tuesday chipboard pieces with some enamel dots, some torn paper. These letters, I can't remember what brand they are that spell out thank you. They're not thickers. I also like to use in my background, I like to use these little die cuts, floral die cuts. I feel like they add a little texture and a little something extra, but they don't overpower the background. Secret Garden, you could see, has the same sort of thing, a different die cut, but a little bit of a floral addition that I feel like adds some texture to the background. This is using Bo Bunny papers, some die cuts. I believe some of these are K & Company. These are Martha Stewart little peach flowers. This was a clip that I broke the clip part off and just used the top part, and you may recognize these butterflies if you shop in Michael's. They've had them in one form or another for many years in Michael's. I use a lot of the same papers to create the next day's layout, which is called Use Sparkle. The prompt included using something that had to do with the moon, so I was really excited to find this transparency that says I love you to the moon and back. And I used a cut file called Funky Floral and some self-adhesive pearls. Again, a floral element in the background, Prima flowers, and these are some scrolls, those old Prima scrolls made out of some bling. This scrapbook Wise Words is from the Benjamin Franklin Museum that's in Philadelphia. And you could see that all of the elements are clustered in the middle. The quote, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn," was one that I thought was inspiring. And I just used some buttons and stars and ephemera. This one, Your Grand Old Flag, again uses that Technique Tuesday chipboard, which I put some bling on. Again, I used some torn paper in the background and some stickers. This was a pretty quick page. So Stars and Stripes Forever, I had to create that while we were traveling. I was very dedicated to making sure I scrapbooked and posted every single day. And so I had to bring some materials with me. This layout doesn't involve that many materials. It's the die cut is the main focus of this page. These are ephemera pieces and the enamel dots. And then the page was done. Man's Best Friend, question mark, question mark. These pictures came out funny. Looks like Jackson is biting my daughter's face. He's very gentle. Sometimes when he kisses, he ends up giving you a little nibble on your face, which looks a little scary in that picture. And Coco likes to pet you. And she's kind of a powerful dog. And it came out looking pretty funny in this picture. So these are graphic 45 papers that a friend gave to me during a crop. I absolutely loved the color scheme here. And I happen to have some older embellishments that went along with this color scheme. This is a die that I used to make the banner. And you could see some enamel dots. And some photo corners that I painted because I didn't have the right color. Love photo corners. Happy Heart was made with some mixed media. I used a stencil and some iridescent texture paste there. I have lots of great punches that I love to use. They're old, but I still like to use them. You can see there's a doily, and I use some sprays in the background for Happy Heart. Oh, and I also got to this ribbon on the page, which I love, but just had never incorporated anywhere. I was very happy to use that. Love Philadelphia. This layout uses a starburst. I love a starburst. I feel like it adds so much movement to the page. I might have gone a little overboard on the bling on this page. You can see lots and lots of bling everywhere, but because it's a patriotic layout, I feel like red, white, and blue and bling are a good combo, and I'm pretty happy with it. I like using these photo corners. I've also had those in my stash for quite a while. This page, Shane Confectionery, is another tourist attraction in Philadelphia. And this paper is graphic 45. I had already cut this out and for some reason put it back in my stash without using it. And then when we had the prompt for this one, I found it and I thought, oh, all the hard work is done. I put some paper behind the cutouts and added a few little elements. Some of them are fussy cut. This is actually from the store. And sometimes I have trouble using graphic 45 papers, not because they're not so beautiful, but because they're so beautiful, I'm afraid to cut them sometimes. And I was happy that I was able to use this paper and get a page scrapped quickly. This page is called Sweet Life. It uses Bo Bunny's Sweet Moments collection. I had some chipboard and paper and stickers from the collection, and I used this self-adhesive lace and some letter stickers. Sunshiny Day. Once the cut file, the title cut file was backed, that was the majority of the work of this page. This is using mainly the Summer Lights collection from Pink Paisley. I love that collection. And with the torn paper and a couple of embellishments, the page was done. This is called Not Your Average Pizzeria. Again, it's in Philly. So I wanted to keep with the red, white, and blue theme, but I didn't want the patriotic element of it to knock you over because this is a pizzeria page. So I did use the red, white, and blue theme. It's toned down a little bit with some earth colors that are mixed in. Philadelphia Freedom has some stars. I didn't use those Technique Tuesday chipboard pieces like I did on the other pages. This is just cut out of paper and popped up on some foam or cardboard. And this one I stitched, and this one I used bling for. And you could see again, I used quite a bit of bling here. And these are stars from a cut file, a different cut file that I had saved. Feelin' Tropical. This was taken at the New York Botanical Gardens. I have so much tropical summer paper. It's so beautiful. I can't resist buying it, but I haven't been anywhere tropical in a really long time. So I was really excited. They had a sculptor called Chihuly. They had his sculptures, they're mainly glass sculptures all over. They were so beautiful. We felt that this was a very tropical looking setting, and I was able to use my tropical papers and embellishments for Feelin' Tropical. So you could see that there's some mixed media on the background, some more of those floral elements that I like to use, and a puffy sticker and some thickers. And that one was done. This one also has that red, white, and blue, or red, cream, and blue color scheme, but not because we were in Philadelphia. This time it was based on this sign that my daughter saw at this flea market, and she loved it, took a picture by it, and again, it's called Stormville Flea Market. It has some banners that I use my die cutting machine to cut out. This tag it's been in my stash for as long as I can remember. I think it might be one of the first things that I got when I started scrapbooking, and used a border punch over here as well. This page called Dog Love. This is Jackson and Coco again, and this is the story of how we got them. When my dog passed away, our dog, I really wasn't ready for another dog. I don't know if I ever would have been or felt that I was ready for another dog, but my daughter, she really wanted one. So when we went to the rescue, she liked Jackson and my husband liked Coco. So we ended up bringing them both home, and this is the story of bringing them home. And I didn't talk about the layout. This is a die cut with a view. This is a very old paper stack. And you can see I just used some enamel dots and a punch. And that layout came together, if I recall, pretty quickly. Hello Summer is using a Simple Stories collection. The mixed media on this page, using the color scheme and this background paper, really that was the main part of the layout. And then after that, I just added this banner and some paper along with some chipboard pieces, and the layout was done. This one is Broadway Julia style. We always laugh at my daughter. She always seems to do everything to the nines. So I wanted to document that on this page. This page uses Bo Bunny paper with more of those floral die cuts in the back. Lots of old Prima flowers. These are Melissa Francis elements over here. And you could see some pearls and splatters. Beautiful Life also used texture paste. This was also taken to New York Botanical Gardens. This is these are sprays. These are Prima, those jeweled swirls again, or scrolls, and some old Prima flowers and paper and chipboard. This was taken at Thanksgiving, using the traditional fall colors. This is another Bo Bunny line. Been getting a lot of Bo Bunny from Tuesday morning. This is just a lot of layered paper and some mixed media in the background. This one, Our Family, is also using some Bo Bunny paper. I also use some Prima flowers and just a lot of layering of paper and some crocheted self-adhesive lace. And a couple of enamel dots to bring out some of those colors that aren't as prominent. This one is called My Sister. This uses some of the Brenda Walton papers and ephemera that I got at Tuesday morning, and some of it I had in my stash. They had some super pretty vellum embellishments and lots of mixed media and some really old glitter letters. USA. This page has another smaller sunburst at the top, lots of the bling, the red, white, and blue with the bling all over. And I painted the edge of the page white to try to bring things together. This is my last layout for the load event. This one is called Thanksgiving. This is using probably the first cut file I ever cut out using my Silhouette machine. I cut it out, I got my sprays out, I colored it, I loved it, and then I set it aside and I hadn't used it. So I was really happy to get that down on the page. I did some machine stitching, which I'm just starting to do, so that's something I don't use on a lot of my pages yet. And these embellishments are things that have generally, looking at them, they've been in my stash for quite a while. And that's Thanksgiving. I also have 2 more layouts that I created during the load event, but didn't post them because they weren't my favorite, and I just thought I would quickly share these. This one is called Thankful for Cousins. I like this page. What I don't like about it is I feel that the 2 pictures they're too high up on the page. This banner, I wish it was more of a shallow cut into the paper and I could have brought everything down a little bit. It just looks unbalanced to me. It's not a bad page. I didn't want to post it. And so it must have been on a weekend and I must have had time to create another layout for that one. And then this one, I liked this layout a lot until I added this color, this blue color. It just took away from the purple and green color combination, and I couldn't get it back up again. They're cute embellishments, but it just didn't, I don't know, I just don't like the feel of the colors with those stickers on there. And since they wouldn't come off, I just had to accept it, and I will put this in her album. And then when I scrap some other pictures from this event, I'll scrap them with a different color scheme. So thank you so much for taking the time to look at my layouts, and I hope you'll come back and join me another day. Have a great day. Take care.